Welcome in. So here we are, game week. We're a day and a half, 2 days removed, really, from our kickoff of the NFL season. And yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Who's not excited? Yeah, let's get after it. But before we get to that, we got to clean up everything that happened in college football. And few things will make you look like a more average or below average coach than poor quarterback play. Don't get me wrong, the Florida State Seminoles' inability to stop the run is probably what's derailed them the most, right? Because when you can't stop the run, you're giving up long, sustained drives. It beats you up. It slows the pace. You don't get enough possessions, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's why they lost to Georgia Tech. Probably why they lost to Boston College some as well. But the bigger issue is they have no offense. And they have a quarterback who was one of the top three in his class going back several years ago when C.J. Stroud was coming out. Of course, we remember him as a freshman when he replaced Trevor Lawrence when Trevor Lawrence was hurt, and he looked like the heir apparent. And then when he was the heir apparent, he was okay. And then when Cole Kubela came in, he was just okay. And then he went to Oregon State last year, and he was outstanding. And the Pac-12 was a great quarterback class and unbelievable league last year in its last year of existence. Now he goes to the SEC, and you're like, oh, this guy's been doing it a while. Look at all the quarterbacks last year. How many of them were in their fifth year and were able to have far and away the best year as a college athlete? Why? Well, kind of simple. Right? They just done it forever. Everything slowed down. It got super simple to them. It hasn't gotten there for DJ Uiagalelei. Just does not. Doesn't make him a bad person. What it does do is it reinforces some of the things that I've thought as a basketball coach. And it's also gave me a different perspective as a basketball coach. What you're about to hear is the absolute reality of all athletics, but especially college athletics. Okay? What we have to try and figure out is DJ just not any good? And Jonathan Smith, who's a former quarterback guru, now the Michigan State head coach, he's that good that he could make him look better than he was? Is Mike Norvell's system not fit for how he wants to play? Does he lack confidence? And why does he lack confidence? He was good last year in the Pac-12. Why wouldn't he be good this year in 2 ACC games when he's played in the ACC before? And then as a commentator / college basketball coach, like, if I kill him, like DJ Uiagalelei's dad is, by all accounts, a really good dude. He's a big presence on social media, but he's also a guy who has taken lots of kids under his wing, Polynesian kids, and cheered for them as they played collegiately and professionally. He's not necessarily a player in the basketball world, but if I clown a college kid because he was massively overrated, am I not putting myself in the crosshairs of, hey, at some point, those are the kind of kids you're going to want to get at Green Bay? And maybe I have at Green Bay, and we're trying to fix him. Right? Is it too high a level? Does he have the yips? Is it something in the system? Is he just not that good and it doesn't matter of level? And the only reason you wonder if it's confidence or something else is he was good last year with Oregon State, wasn't he? Now, here's the part where it reinvigorates my belief, because that goes counter to in the past, I always thought, and I still think, and I think it's going to get worse. These are essentially professional athletes. They'll be treated as such. When they stink, they'll be told they stink. They won't be told, hey, they're kids, they'll do better, they'll get better next week, maybe the backup's the guy. When they stink, it becomes a huge problem for the whole program because you've likely had your biggest donors donate your biggest sum of money to NIL to help you get that quarterback, and you spend $1 million to $2 million on a quarterback. You don't have any money for a backup quarterback, so you have to play him and exhaust all possibilities of him actually being good. I think it's super interesting. Here we have a coach who was 13-0 last season. Quarterback gets hurt, whole team, that matters, doesn't play in the bowl game. They get blown out. Then they go get the next best quarterback in the portal, got him super early, got him ready. He's been there. He's been through the tough stuff. He came out the other side, and now they can't win a game. But my perspective has changed because I think you do have to worry about all the other connectors and how you treat a kid. You understand that sometimes, and this is from being a player, you actually are good. You just don't have the confidence and believe yourself as being good. And then, oh yeah, by the way, maybe most importantly, here's the parts that it does go along with what I've always been thinking, what I've always thought. And what I've always thought was that if you're a basketball coach and you don't have a point guard or two, you're a football coach and you don't have a quarterback or two, you're going to look like a far worse coach than you actually are. Far worse coach. If you can't get the ball from A to B in basketball, it doesn't matter what B to C and C to D looks like. And in football, it doesn't matter how pretty the plays are, how good the wide receivers are, how great it all seems to come together. If you don't have a guy, then get it to A to B. You can probably see your way out of a winning season. I don't solely blame the quarterback. I don't think the kid stinks because he didn't stink last year, and enough people recruited him, wanted him, where Florida State would have been the only one making such a colossal mistake in terms of their decision-making. But something isn't working. Something isn't right. So, something isn't working. Something isn't right. Here's Mike Norvell after the loss.
You got a football team that's hurting. You got a football team that nobody envisions being, ever being where we are, and having disappointment, having failure. I do believe in what this team can do. I believe in what this team can accomplish. I know there's going to be plenty of negativity around this program. I understand that. When you perform the way we just did, that's all part of it. But for a football team, you got to stay together, and you got to make sure that you're there for each other. We've been knocked down. We know how to get up, but we've got to go do that. It's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to put it into action and then to be able to perform in the moment.
What's interesting about Florida State is they're going to have opportunities here. They got SMU on the road, Clemson at home, Miami on the road, and Notre Dame on the road. You got plenty of opportunities to go and get quality wins. So in this world of, hey, you could still lose 2 games, but losing 2 within your league makes it hard to get to your league championship game. Without getting your league championship game, it's really hard to get to the playoff without winning your league through winning your league championship game. But we have seen them. That's a snapshot of what they look like in August and September. I guess we'll find out what they looks like from this point forward. But maybe in the new world order, if you can't beat Georgia Tech and you can't beat Boston College, what makes you think you're going to beat Notre Dame, Miami, and Clemson? Let's get you to Dan Byer, get a quick update, and then we'll circle back to John Middlecoff in a second. Dan, how are you this morning?
Good, Doug. Still waiting on those numbers for Trent Williams. No word on how much of a pay raise he is going to get, but he is on the practice field today, ending his holdout that lasted the entire training camp. More good news for the 49ers. Not only is Trent Williams on the practice field, so is Christian McCaffrey, who had been dealing with a calf strain, and Brandon Ayuk practicing today. He had been with the team during his hold-in, but obviously got his new contract last week. There is still a holdout in New York. It's Hassan Reddick, and the Jets continue to be without their edge rusher as he looks for a new deal. New York Giants head coach Brian Daboll confirmed he'll call plays on offense this season. Florida State has completely fallen out of the AP Top 25 college football poll. Not a surprise after back-to-back losses to start this season. A bunch of shakeups in the Week 2 poll, including at number 3, where the Texas Longhorns have moved up. So has Alabama, and Notre Dame is up to 5. Oregon fell from 3 to 7 despite a win against Idaho this past weekend. Clemson hanging on at number 25, down 11 spots after losing to Georgia. And USC jumped 10 spots to 13. They were at 23. They got that win in Las Vegas against LSU. LSU previously was 13. They dropped 5 spots down to 18. At the U.S. Open, women's side of things, 13th-seeded American Emma Navarro is onto the semifinals with a straight sets victory. President's Cup teams filled out today in golf. Captain's picks for both the U.S. and internationals. Jim Furyk, the U.S. captain, filled out his squad by adding Keegan Bradley, Sam Burns, Max Homa, Brian Harmon, Russell Henley, and Tony Finau. And the Edmonton Oilers gave center Leon Draisaitl an 8-year extension worth $112 million.